got a question for you. What does this city know about luxury? Huh? What does a town that's been to hell and back know about the finer things in life? Well, I'll tell you, more than most. You see, it's the hottest fires that make the hardest steel. Add hard work and conviction, and the know-how that runs generations deep in every last one of us. That's who we are. That's our story. Now, it's probably not the one you've been reading in papers. One being written by folks who've never even been here and don't know what we're capable of. Because when it comes to luxury, it's as much about where it's from as who it's for. Now, we're from America, but this isn't New York City, or the Windy City, or Sin City, and we're certainly no one's Emerald City.
Yeah, we're back. Stocks Logan. Figured I'd open that up with little gritty
Well,
line stuff, for you.
I think it's fitting because that game against the Green Bay Packers week 1 was like going to hell. And then playing the Falcons, I got back down to earth a little bit and only lost by 14. So I guess that song does fit what we're going to talk about. Because we are talking about week 1 and week 2. I figured we got back in the case, and we got back in the run of things, and breaking down these things, and we talked about the Super Bowl, we talked about the draft, we talked about free agency. Now it's time to really shift into season 2 stocks, and
yeah, definitely.
And to really break these things down on a weekly basis. So we're gonna pick a game of the week at the end of this all. The games that really stuck out to us. And games I think we really need to talk about, not only for week 1 and week 2, but for the Super Bowl and on.
Well, yeah, I got an AFC game and an NFC game, and you can go either or. You got the Patriots versus the Chargers.
Yeah.
The Patriots came out 26-22, and then the NFC side, Panthers versus Bears. The Bears came out with a victory 26-21.
You mentioned the Chargers, and I gotta say, week 2, he beat the champions, man.
Yeah, he's got a slimmer of hope of taking that division. You gotta if you want that division, you're gonna have to beat the Raiders.
Doesn't that show you though? He was the worst team last year, I think. Worst team in the league, and he goes out and beats the Super Bowl champs in week 2. Pretty impressive, and it really does show the parity in this league. We've been preaching it, but I don't need to preach it anymore. You just gotta look at the box score of this game. I mean, I've been saying that people in this league are really even, and between the first pick in the draft and the Super Bowl, there really isn't much different between the players. Sometimes it just comes down to luck, and it comes down to these little things, that really could turn your season, but really, there's no bad team, or bad owner, I should say, in our league. And this game proves it.
No, there's definitely not. The guys here we're playing against, we all kind of not know them literally, but we know the core players and what they bring to the table, and how they are with their team, and they're kind of their style of play. And when they're on, I mean, if you get a win, it's like winning the Super Bowl because these players are tough, you know what I mean? So you can't just come in and think, oh, I'm just going to get an easy W. There's no easy W in this league. I don't believe so.
No, and there's no easy loss either. I mean, like, when you lose, you don't feel like, I hope people don't feel like they're defeated when they lose because, like you said, you're playing the best. It kind of confirms it all for me because the Chargers goes out and beats the Oakland Raiders in week 2. I beat the Chargers week 1, and I'm harping on myself saying I'm a horrible player, but now he goes out and beats the champions. Well, it just shows you really how. I think I think more specifically, this year's Madden stocks, I really don't. I think it comes down to turnovers. Your quarterback cannot turn over the ball. If your quarterback turns over the ball a lot, you're going to lose.
Yeah, you're gonna lose, but if you can come up with something else to replace that, yeah, you turn the ball over, but can you make a big play on special teams to pick up that slack? Can your defense make the good third down stops?
Yeah.
I know what you mean by that, but there are other ways around if you're gonna make the mistake. But yeah, well, yeah, and even in real football,
Yeah.
when the good teams play each other, it comes down to the turnover battle a lot.
Yeah.
Who's that team that's going to make that turnover?
I know what you're saying. If you do turn it over, you better hope for you get some luck on the special teams end, or you get a big defensive stop. I mean, there's other ways around it, but a good rule of thumb: if you turn over the ball, I mean, it's gonna be a nightmare, and you're gonna climb that hill back to glory, because especially in this league, and you cannot turn over the ball because these players are too good.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Going to the Patriots Chargers game right off the bat, you got Robin Gronkowski, tight end, going off again already this year early. 6 catches for 111 yards. I mean, the guy's a machine. I mean, but the sad point, I know I'm gonna have to break you the bad news, but Adrian Foster, 15 rushing attempts, 168 yards.
I know.
Four touchdowns, and then along with 84.
Hey man, check out LaShore's touchdown numbers for week 2, and I don't look so stupid.
No, I'm not saying that. I like the trade, but I'm just saying you always when you trade away a player.
Yeah.
How this player is doing? Well, guess what? Foster's fitting pretty well in New England.
Oh, I knew he would. He's a great player. But in all fairness, we did the same thing to Manny. Every week we would hop on. Hey, was this a good trade? It's all going to be in the numbers. And I knew I was getting rid of a good player. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I needed to protect Matthew Stafford, because not only is Matthew Stafford a really good player, I mean, quarterback for my system. I mean, the deep ball, I need that for Kelvin Johnson. But I'm paying the guy a lot of money. In a cap league, you got to protect your investments. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt about that. No.
I mean, if it wasn't a cap league, and we didn't have shape, I would be so tentative to make that deal. But I'm paying Matthew Stafford a ton of money. But yeah, I mean, New England, he's got a two-headed monster now, getting Foster.
Yeah, because you had Brady only throw 18 times. I mean, I don't think he did that once last year. I would guarantee you he didn't throw 18 times.
You know what everyone was saying about him last year? He's a one-trick pony. He doesn't like to run. He won't run. He's not good at running. Well, wake up.
Yep.
You better hit your alarm, because this guy is running the ball.
Mr. Foster, 4 TDs. I mean, that's remarkable. On the other side, you got the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, a good 22 for 38 for 285.
Yep.
No touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions. Brian Matthews, 24 attempts, 84 yards rushing. Big Antonio Gates, tight end, wide receiver, tight end / wide receiver. You can put him at whatever. 12 catches for 122 yards. I mean, you can't ask much more from Gates than that. So looking at the game, it was pretty close. Brady and Rivers both threw two picks, but Adrian Foster just stole the show.
Well, a game I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy to find out the result of in Week 1. The Panthers end up losing a very close one to the Bears. And now the Bears is 2-0 if you count his Week 1 win and then his Week 2 win. This Bears guy is going to be hard to stop again.
Oh, no doubt about it.
That 4-6.
Oh, yeah.
He held Newton to 76 yards passing.
Yeah. 9 for 20, 76 yards passing. Yeah, that is remarkable.
Yeah, that's really good. Charles, the thing about the Bears, though, you can tell it was he did it mostly defensively, because although he had some good numbers, he had to hand the ball off 30 times to Charles to get 165 yards. If that tells me nothing more, his defense and his time of possession were remarkable. So, I mean, that's the difference in a 21 to 26 game is the time of possession. When you're talking that close, you're talking, I will say, though, the Bears mostly did most of his damage in the first half, and then the Panthers had to play catch-up, scoring 21 points, all 21 points in the third quarter. So, but...
Yeah, looking over that game, it looked like Cam Newton was definitely on the run. Jared Allen, 2 sacks. Total of 5 sacks. Spencer a sack. I mean,
yeah.
So the 4-6, if you don't know it, if you don't know how to use it, and you're not used to it, he's gonna bring it. And this is a perfect example. Even the great Cam Newton was shut down because of it.
Yeah. I think I might even experiment with the 4-6 a little bit. I think I got the talent to run it this year. Now that my corners can go more 1-on-1, I might be more 4-6. I would have liked to run the 4-6 maybe a little bit last year, but I didn't have the corners. Now that I have the corners, I might be experimenting a little bit more with it. Another game that sticks out to me is the Vikings and the Broncos, 35-30. The Broncos ends up losing this game, but man, does he have Tim Tebow figured out. 81 yards rushing, 348 yards passing for Tim Tebow. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. It looks like all the receptions or the bulk of the receptions were to the rookie, Wallace.
Yeah, looking over Denver's stats, I mean, 20 of 35, 348, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Tebow is on his game, and I think last year he probably took a hit and set up for this year. And that Tony Gonzalez pickup, he only had 3 catches but 16 yards. I think that later down the road, Denver's got some pieces here. They got Fred Jackson, no Sean Moreno, Willis McGahee. That's a triple-headed backfield threat.
Yeah.
He's got a rookie Wallace. Still got Brandon Lloyd there, Tony Gonzalez, Eddie Royal. I mean, he's got some weapons on this team, and if the defense can pick up the slack, and you still got Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey's still doing it, man.
He's still doing it, man. He's got the INT up there. Vaughn Miller, the great rookie last year, coming into his own this year. So, yeah, we're gonna have to maybe put a little asterisk and watch this Denver team and see how he takes off.
Vaughn Miller.
Because let me tell you that Minnesota team is really really tough, and they only lost by 5, so it's almost a moral victory there.
Yeah, well, I mean, for Champ Bailey still to be doing it, 14 years. I mean, that guy hasn't lost a step, man. I mean, he did. Week 2, he did have a bit of a drop off, only getting 1 tackle, but he won 9-35. He probably took his starters out, on both sides of the ball in that game. But the Broncos and again the Vikings pulls out a win. Don't people realize the NFC North is hard enough? I mean, give me a break, man.
And you got Julius Peppers on the side. Week 1 starting off at 5 sacks. You want to just give him the sack championship right now? Because I could give it to him right now.
I'm not gonna go that far, but man, I tell you.
No, I will. All right, Julius Peppers, leading sack leader of Gridiron 2012.
Oh. Well,
put it on the board.
Put it on the board. There it is. No. I'm not far from putting it on the board. I'll give you perspective, though. I have 5 sacks in week 2. He had 5 sacks in week 1 with 1 player. That's phenomenal. I don't even. That is. I mean, he is Julius Peppers after all that. I mean, he's a phenomenal, astronomical talent. I mean, that dude just can play. But 5 sacks 1 game. That's got to be a record of some kind.
Probably, I would say so.
Or up there with the greats. Is there any other game from week 1 that kind of stands out to you?
No, week 1 is just pretty much just checking out the rookies, how the rookies fit in, if they're starting or not. Basically, that's it. No, we can move on to week 2 if you want.
You know what's important? What's important is week 3, week 4. That's when you're usually touching more of your divisional games. You're kind of, because week one you're feeling it out. Guys like the Redskins, they're using rookie quarterbacks they never used before.
Yeah, yeah. You just you have your free agents in there. You don't know how you piece them in well. So yeah, week one's kind of a nonchalant. Yeah, every victory means something, but week one you're not gonna lose the season because of it. So.
And week two is a little bit like that too because, well, in my case, and I don't know how many other people were affected. I know, but you got injuries. I had a season-ending injury in week one. There's nothing like it. It's devastating. I had another injury. He's done for 8 weeks. Guys like the Cowboys find out, well, hey, Tony Romo might not be my guy going forward. I'm gonna have to figure out, something else, something new, another way I can roll because, he isn't gonna get done. He trades for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then the rest is history. That might turn out to be a good trade, but week one and week two are kind of feeling it out weeks. Week 3 and 4, you really have to get your identity down and know what you're gonna do. So going forward to week 2, what games do you think we should highlight? What games do you think were important, if any?
Well, the week 2 matchup with the Green Bay Packers and Tampa Bay Bucks, you have Manny coming out 2-0 with a victory over Tampa Bay divisional rival 27-10. Pretty much looking more into this game. You kind of finally get to see a little bit of how Manny's bounced back from last year to this year, and he's kind of done it pretty nice. Rodgers 14 for 19 for 180 yards. And Starks the leading carrier 24 attempts, which is, I don't think we've seen that all last year. Manny being a little bit more balanced here for 123 yards and a touchdown.
I'll tell you the biggest between me this year and last year, he's being patient. He's being patient with the run. He's being patient with Aaron Rodgers. And I tell you what, if Manny plays like this the whole season, I'll put it on the board right now. If he plays like this up to this standard, you might be looking at Super Bowl run right here.
Well, that's a turnaround that I think we've been waiting for because we all know he's a great player, and last year was kind of a shock. Like, he went through all these changes and it didn't pay off for him, and maybe now we can start to see a little bit of a glimpse of it.
And we said maybe he made these trades for next year. I said, well, maybe he's looking for a rookie, but the facts are the facts. The dude is more balanced now. He gets 24 carries for Starks. He's more efficient with Aaron Rodgers. That was his 2 biggest things. He didn't run the ball enough, and he wasn't efficient with Aaron Rodgers. I'll tell you, from playing in week 1, he is scary, dangerous, good. He made me look like I never picked up a game of Madden. I'm not kidding you. I could not do anything. It's not even his offense. I mean, go down to the defensive numbers. I couldn't do anything against that defense. And the scary thing, Stocks, he wasn't even pressuring me, really. It wasn't like he was sending blitzes and had to do these exotic things. His coverages were so good. He has a team. And he's playing how he should. He's being very conservative, very efficient. I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't think of him as a Super Bowl favorite, and I'm ready to put that on the board. I want to get to your game because week 1, you didn't have that good a week, no doubt about it. Week 2, you bounced back and kind of put it to the Indianapolis Colts a little bit and show your defensive power because I really think that's a really strength of this team that gets overlooked a lot. Because you have a guy like Drew Brees who's just going to garnish so much attention. You have, Mark Ingram, the big hammerback, the rookie last year, who's obviously going to garnish, again, a lot of attention. Jimmy Graham. But your defense is for real, man.
Yeah, the defense got the W here because going up against Peyton Manning and Colston and Clark, I mean, the Colts are no slouch. He's got tons of weapons, and yeah, my defense showed up. Cushion with 5 tackles and the forced fumble, which my defensive end Jordan picked it up and ran it in for the touchdown, which was a huge turnover in the game. So
yeah,
the defense played very, very strong there.
Well, I'll say this: these scores get oftentimes screwed a little bit, and you think, oh, 12-20. I tell you what, big turnovers like that, big forced fumbles like that, they can just change the makeup of a game. You know that as well as I do. So that had to be big. But I'll tell you what, highlighting Brandon Cushing a little bit, Brian Cushing. I named Larry Fitzgerald the Spider last year. That was my big nickname. Everyone loved it. I'm nicknaming Cushing Captain America. Once this guy hits you, man, it's all over you. I mean, done. The Crusher, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Punisher. I don't care. Once this guy hits you, you're going to be seeing ambulance, and you're going to be seeing headlights, and you see that Tweety bird over your head. Something crazy's about to happen, man.
Yeah, wherever Cushing gets in on the play, he just remarkably, for some reason, causes something, does something to somebody. It just doesn't go away. So yeah, he was my pickup of the year last year.
Yeah,
he's been the stud of my defense.
May I give some advice to the Colts? You should be lucky with that forced fumble. Luckily, whoever he hit isn't out for the season, because Cushing does that quite a bit. So if that's any kind of consolation to the loss, at least you still got your players and his head intact. Yeah, you mentioned that turnover was probably the the reason you won the game.
Yeah, because Manning went 16 for 26 for 200 yards and a touchdown and an INT. The game was really, really kind of a back and forth game. It was kind of grinded out.
Yeah, I can see that from the box scores, and I encourage everyone to do that. Don't just look at the scores, because the scores look like Stocks kind of handled the game. The Colts put up a good effort.
Oh yeah, it was there was punts, so we were playing field position, and we were kind of probably both shocked. Breeze versus Manning, you would think it would be a high scoring game, and
yeah,
both defense showed up that day.
Sometimes the defense would take that as a slap in the face, man. They really get insulted by that, like he insulted their mother or something, and they take it to heart, and obviously that's what happened in this game. Is there any other games from Week 2 that stick out to you?
Week 2 would be the Cowboys versus the Eagles. I'm sticking back with the NFC. I'm sorry, guys. I know. The Cowboys coming in with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Is Tony Romo still on his team? Or?
Tony Romo is still on his team basically because I think the cap is too expensive. But Week 1, Tony really, really, really upset him. If this wasn't such a family show, I'd really tell you what he said. Let's just say he was not happy with Tony Romo. He said that Romo may have a chance to get back in the game, but he was very impressed with what Ryan Fitzpatrick did. And to be honest, he got Ryan Fitzpatrick pretty cheap, if you ask me. I think he only gave him a third and a fourth. And so, Ryan Fitzpatrick to me is the Cowboys is runner's quarterback specifically. He likes a pocket passer. He's not gonna push it downfield a lot anyways. He's more built around the run. So I think Ryan Fitzpatrick actually fits him a lot better than it fit the Bills.
Yeah, in the game, Felix Jones, 16 attempts for 169 yards. He can't be too disappointed in that guy. I mean, Felix Jones is a kind of an underrated running back in our league. He's
very.
He's kind of nobody talks about. We never talked about him. We've never said anything about this. Felix Jones could carry a team or not. But I guess Felix Jones, in my eyes, is a good. He's a good on the threshold number one. With some upsides.
Yeah.
I mean, he broke a 75-yard run. What is that?
Which I would assume was a touchdown run, but even still, that's great. Another guy, the Cowboys running game, and the runner specifically as an owner, he's a very underrated runner. If he could just get that passing game, maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick is the answer, because if he could just get that passing game under control, he would be a threat. And I think he still is a threat in his division. I know he oftentimes gets down on himself. You remember the time when he was talking about trading Ware and all these players, and you know, but by the end of the season, what happened? He was in the playoff race. So this guy always kind of starts slow, but he always kind of picks it up near the end of the season. And if he can get Ryan Fitzpatrick under control, he's definitely got the running game because Murray showed up too. Murray only had 2 carries, but had 49 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, this guy's definitely got the running under control.
The Cowboys definitely have the weapons. I mean, Jason Witten is no slouch tight end. You know, he's not the flashy tight end, but he's not gonna drop the ball for you. Miles Austin, sorry, is a good outside wide receiver. I know he ended up letting go of Des Bryant, but you still got the weapons on the Eagle side. You know, you still have to look at the players, and he's got studs everywhere, and it's Sidney Rice. You know, comes out of Seattle, 7 catches for 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Finley, 5 catches for 99. But then you have a number 1 wide receiver, technically on any team, Deshaun Jackson, with 1 catch for 18 yards. I mean, that's where I think he's got too many cooks in the kitchen there, because if he's only throwing Deshaun Jackson 1 time, you could sell him. You know what I mean? And so it's like having a Ferrari parked in your garage and you just let it sit there and you look at it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's gotta drive some people crazy that want number 1s. You know, number 1 wide receivers and these type of talents, because he's definitely got all the talent in the world. The question's always going to be is, can this guy win a championship? And I don't know. He had all the talent last year and he didn't do it. So maybe he's got some, an ingredient figured out this year. We'll see. I mean, he's kind of the guy who always puts up great season stats, but when it comes to Manny talked about the Giants and how remember how he talked about the Giants just didn't have it to win the Super Bowl. He didn't have something. Well, he always talks about how the Eagles are so good, but yet the Giants beat the Eagles. So, I know Manny loves the Eagles, but to me, the Eagles, they should be there. I'm just not confident they can get it done, to be honest.
Yeah, well, on paper, if we were to give the prediction this year, on paper, team-wise, not even looking at player-wise, it's just strictly player-wise, the Eagles would be the ranked number 1 team, favorite to win it all.
Yeah, again.
Hands down. No doubt about it.
I mean, and I'm not hating on the Eagles. I'm just telling you how it is. When a guy's got that much talent, he's going to be named Super Bowl, favorite every year, and you got to meet that expectation. Otherwise, get out of the spotlight, because, and that's just the way it is. Guys like the Raiders are going to fly under the radar because they don't have the players he does. When you have those type of players, you're just going to garnish that much attention. That's just how it is.
Oh, yeah, and that's the whole thing we've always talked about
Yep.
If your style does not suit the team that you have and it's the team that you're building, I don't know if you're going to go anywhere in this league, because it's just a perfect example. If you were to give the Raiders owner the Eagles team, would he be able to win the championship? Would he be able to do as much damage as he done? Or like the Giants, if the Giants had the Eagles team, would he be able to go undefeated? I don't, you know what I mean? So you don't. Yeah, I don't think so, because you're taking away from his style, giving him basically superstars at every position.
Well, that just shows you that talent isn't everything, and I think the Eagles is using the Eagles the right way. I'm just saying, when you have that much attention, you're going to garnish a Super Bowl, quality team. When you have a Super Bowl quality team, people are going to think Super Bowl or bust. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter if it's a Madden League or real life or we're ESPN or NFL Network. When you have that much talent, you're going to, people are going to say Super Bowl or nothing. Super Bowl or bust. That's just how it is. We'll be right back after this.